How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Last Word Cheetah here in the Bets TV studios in Southern California. I am Preston Johnson, your host at Sportscheetah on Twitter. That's where most of you are watching this anyways. Here in the studio with my co-host, Qwan Young. He's producing. He'll share a few thoughts. He's trying to fix some stuff. I'll be honest. It's been a while since we had technical difficulties, but there were a couple. So I don't know if it's a bad omen for the weekend. I looked back at the Monday and Tuesday college football stuff we gave out. Toledo already won from action, but the rest has moved in our favor pretty heavily, and nothing's working right now other than the stream looks to be working. I got a busy signal in my ear, so I don't know if like Patrick or Nick was calling. Not anymore. You fixed it. Sorry. I don't know. It feels like a bad sign now. I shouldn't be superstitious, right? I'm an analytical guy.
Oh yeah, it's there's a lot happening right now.
I'm not sure now. Maybe play the other sides in a round robin just in case. What's the thumbs up? The phone lines are working now. All right, for those that are new, just tuning in, 661-515-BETS is our phone line. We take your calls. We talk over the bets and the games you want to talk about, break them down. I share thoughts if I have a lean or a bet in any of them. And then we track your bets over the course of the month, and we give away cash to the top picker at the end of each month. Usually been between $700 and $800 that goes out every month. So with that, we're not bringing in the callers because I don't know if people remember this. First time we ever did this show. Qwan, I'm not sure if you remember the first day. Sound wasn't working at the beginning.
I was stressed out. Yeah.
Cameras looked like they were from the 80s because they weren't set correctly the first few shows that we did. But our good friend Spredapedia, Jason, was sitting right next to me, and we did an MLB futures assessment, and one of his favorite futures that we broke down was Ohtani MVP at 30-1. I remembered that because Jason was telling me about it like for a month straight, but when we had him on, I forgot that he had talked about it on the show until a few people, some OGs from day one Last Word Cheetah, said, hey, tell Jason thanks for me. I had that 30-1, or I think maybe one of them only got 25-1, but bet it anyway. And I said, well, we need to have Jason back on the show then to gloat a little bit. So we're going to have him. He's just going to call in. He won't be in studio, but we're going to have him in about 30 minutes. We'll talk over the Ohtani kind of MLB future season as a whole. Some thoughts there. And then I told him we'd put him on the spot for a little bit of football stuff this weekend if he has anything. He tends to bet a lot of like the first TD scored props in NFL games. Maybe he has something there, or just any type of futures bets that are in the current market that he thinks are worth betting. So about 30 minutes, we'll get to that. I'll also do a little bit of a rundown after that at the end of where the college football markets are at with some of the bets that I still think are worth making, those that I would pass on or keep an eye on going into tomorrow morning. And yeah, I think that should do it, Qwan. So for those being patient on the line, we appreciate it. Who is first?
We got Patrick.
Patrick, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Hey, Preston. Hey, you know what? I can't hear you real well. It's the line is real staticky. I could hear about every other word you were saying.
Okay. You can go ahead and just break down your game, and I'll let you just kind of take it for a second.
Okay, yeah. I want to go with the Washington football team. I don't really understand this line. I still see some 3.5s. Well, I see 1 3.5 out there still at South Point, I believe. Hold on. Yep, still there. I bet this earlier in the week at 3.5, and it's kind of moved down.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make this game like 1.5 points, and I would only give the Panthers like half a point of home field during this game too, because that area is historically Redskin country, former Redskin country, I guess. So I think that would mitigate a lot of the home field that they have anyway, and plus it's not a very far journey from DC. So, and I mean, what year is this? I mean, why is Cam Newton getting so much respect? I mean, the dude sucked last year. He hasn't played this year. I mean, he got in for a handful of snaps last week. What are they expecting from him this week at starting? I can't imagine if the Panthers win this game, they would win by margin. It makes no sense to me.
So we talked about this game with someone else. I don't remember who the caller was earlier in the week, and it was one of the sides I agreed with. The 2 to 3.5 move because of Cam Newton. I guess the Chase Young injury is like the downside to the Washington stuff, but that's not worth the difference between 2 and 3.5. I'm with you. I think it should be on the other side of the 3. There's still some 3.5s at minus 110. Most of them are minus 120 range now, but that's still theoretically a good bet if you can get the hook. So I'm with you, Patrick, and we can lock you in at minus 110 for Washington. Like you said, South Point still dealing, and one or two other spots offshore as well. So appreciate the call, man. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah. I couldn't really hear what you were saying. Oh, I want to give a PSA real quick, too. I played Titans -3, or I'm sorry, Patriots -3 against the Titans on a look ahead at DraftKings. I don't think that number is going to be there after Sunday. I'm surprised they still had that lineup anyway. So I don't know if you agree or not, but I played it early. I think that line's going to move, and I think that's a bargain on the Patriots against this fraudulent Titans team.
Good info. Thanks, Patrick. You can just cut him off if you can't hear me. It doesn't matter. But look, the Pats have been steamed every week now for like 3 straight, and it seemingly is the correct move every single time. Just dominant last night, pretty low key. We did the Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire episode for that game, and they had to pick an alt line, and all the under 42.5s were just cruised. Was nothing. And the minus 10.5 was an easy one for Jamie, who used the Pats. Ever since Jim called and said Mac Jones is a top 5 QB right now, he looks like he is. It's insane. The -3 against the Titans, Patrick looking ahead probably is right. The market's going to move on that. So for those that want to jump in and can grab that, go for it. Who is up next?
We got Paul in Tuscaloosa.
Paul, can you hear me okay? How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm having the same issues as Patrick, but I can still hear you though.
Okay.
So.
Just do your best, man. Go ahead and lock us in for what you're looking at for the weekend.
Well, I wanted to ask you if you have heard anything about the Virginia quarterback, and if you know if he's playing or is that still up in the air?
I looked about 2 hours ago just for the sake of bringing it up on the show because, look, if he's a go, 14.5 is just too many points. It's still day-to-day questionable. The word is that Pitt is preparing and practicing as if he's going to play, but if Brennan Armstrong's out, the backup looked absolutely horrific. The market is implying he's not going to play more than anything. I mean, it's 15 some spots, 14.5 most. I have to just wait and see, and it's going to move really quickly once you get the info, but you can't touch it until you have, the verified Armstrong is playing. So for me, it's a stay away.
Yeah, I was going to take a long shot if he was playing, but yeah, I'm going to stay away. I'm actually going to take a little lesser money line shot and I want to see what the best price you have for Virginia Tech money line.
Sure, just 1 second. I'll pull that one up. Plus 255, 255. Does that work?
Okay, right. Yep.
All right.
I think that they come together with a new coach, and I think that Miami is not very strong on the run defense, so I think that the quarterback at least can run. Maybe not can pass, but he can run. So we're hoping that he can, make something happen on the ground. And I just think that Miami's kind of overvalued here. So I'll take a little shot.
All right, man. We'll lock it in. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you later on.
I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Take it easy. So I think Qwan was telling people on hold we're going to reset it so they can hear me better.
Yeah, I'm going to reset it. Give a call back. I'll give Preston a signal and you guys can call back in.
All right. That's fine. All is well. Maybe I'll just run through some of the games that we were looking at earlier in the week. By the way, there is one tonight. It's that Southern Miss La Tech game. The total, I believe it was 50.5, 51 on Tuesday. Not really bettable now because I know people ask me in the Discord, or I got a couple DMs even right before the show started, coincidentally. just wanting plays, like tune in on Mondays and Tuesdays for college football. Like it's just, you're going to have better numbers. It's like, well, what do you like tomorrow? Look, you can't bet Southern Miss under 48 and a half when it was 51 on Tuesday morning. Like that's just, you're giving away your edge. So I wouldn't touch it now. That's the one that's tonight. There's a few others that I think are still worth considering. Let me go ahead and pull up my list. I have it on my phone. I know Florida, the side is still one that I like at 8.5. It's only moved from 7.5 to 8.5. So that's one at Missouri. That should be double digits in my opinion. Another one, if you can get under the 7, it's been kind of touching the 7, moving back. And right now, mostly 6.5 Washington. We played them last week. They're playing in Colorado. I don't know. Just all of a sudden, my numbers were like, hey, I hadn't really touched Washington games all season. And last week and this week, saying they're undervalued, so I'm rolling with it. Another one that will probably not show was the ASU at 2.5, but keep an eye on it. It's sitting 3. A few spots are reduced juice on the 3, so maybe it does push back to 2.5, but that's a buy. USC, if you can get the 3.5s that are out there, there's mostly 3.5s in the market now. That's a buy for me. Sadly, I am a UCLA fan, but got to roll with it. And then Tulane's one that's kind of gotten out of reach. It's at 5.5 now. It was 3.5 on Tuesday. And then totals, there were 2 more. The Iowa State OU under, probably still worth something at 59.5, 59 for what it's worth. I know it was 60.5, 60 on Tuesday. The Michigan-Maryland over, though, got out of reach as well. It's last I looked, 57.5, and I wouldn't play it worse than 56.5. So that's one to keep an eye on, maybe if it comes back down some tomorrow. But that's kind of the recap of everything from college. A couple that are still in range, a couple that are close that you can keep an eye on, a couple that are probably just total passes. So the reset. Any luck, Qwan? No luck. It's all right. It's been a while since we had technical difficulties on the phone lines. Remember back in the day, we had Putin and his minions were supposedly hacking all the airwaves.
That's the message we're gonna get next week.
So we should just blame it on Putin again.
Yeah, it's before Thanksgiving, so they want to run
they're trying to infiltrate everyone's stuff. Look, I wish there were a few more games to go over on the college front, but there just aren't. There were a few that I had circled as potential injury. Keep an eye on it. One is the Virginia Pitt one, which we did have that caller just ask about, Paul. Got to wait for Brennan Armstrong. He's like, I mean, it's not a QB draft that's supposed to be very elite, but I keep hearing he's like up there. Like when it's him and Carson Strong, that's a sign that the QBs in this draft aren't going to be very, very good. But as all, at least that's where some of the NFL scouts and people that are following along value him. So when it's a drop-off from him for a school like Virginia, an NFL caliber QB potentially to the backup, it's pretty significant. That's why the line's so tall. Had someone ask me yesterday, I guess I could clear this one up. They said, hey, is Georgia Southern still good at plus 20? I never bet Georgia Southern this week. I had referenced that someone was asking me about the game. BYU guy, clearly. My fair number was closer to 18, but not enough for me to play 20 or 19.5. I knew someone that liked it a lot. He had it like way lower. So I was just relaying that, hey, that might be something if you guys want some extra action. I think that Monday, we only had 5 or 6 sides anyway, so I had just thrown that one out. But for me, I would need 21 before I would consider playing it. And yeah, I think that's it. Just double checking on a few other of these that I had mentally circled. But the main one was that Virginia one for a quarterback. That's one if we were doing money line round robins on the underdogs the first few weeks and this was the line and we knew Armstrong was going, it'd just be glorious. Getting, let's see what the best price is right here on a money line. Not quite 5-1, but getting Virginia's going to win this game more often than that, especially if Armstrong's good to go. All right, any luck on the phone lines? Or should I tell Jason to call in sooner?
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to drop a link in the Discord and we're gonna have them call in through vMix, through our software, and then I'll
Okay.
put them on that way. It'll be like a one at a time thing. I'll pull them into the waiting room, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we can do that.
So if you're in the Discord,
The
hop in the
Discord,
Discord.
the Last Word Cheetah Discord, or you can throw it in the YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chat on YouTube. People can use that. That is fine. That is good. Anything NBA related, probably should hit on that. We have, I think, 9 games tonight. I will tell you this. The closest to bets for me were over 215 for Indiana Charlotte. It was 214.5 actually this morning. 215.5. Under in the Chicago Denver was 209.5. There's still 209s. That's in Circa's 207.5. That's an interesting discrepancy actually. Regardless, those were the two totals that were closest for me on the NBA slate tonight. And from a sides perspective, I still think the Lakers stink, and Boston's kind of had this underachieving. No Jaylen Brown, of course. That's why their lines have been a little bit compressed. But I think if you can get the twos or better, there's a couple of them out there. I know it's creeped up most spots. I think that's a buy point for Boston. And there was one more side that I found interesting. Just one second. Oh, Clippers, but that's moved a point. They were minus 3.5 against New Orleans earlier on, and the Pelicans just aren't very good. So never mind. That one's definitely out of range. I don't get, man. I watched this video from Kevin. Is it Kevin O'Connor, the Ringer NBA guy? He does some other stuff. I just don't want to get his name wrong. He thanked me for tweeting out his stuff. Yeah, Kevin O'Connor. So he did an entire 10-minute breakdown. I sent it to all my Lakers friends. It was Alonzo and Alex Caruso, how they lead the Bulls defense, what they do to complement the stars offensively. Goes into just really detailed stuff, X's and O's wise. And Alonzo and Alex Caruso are just so good on defense. They make their decisions so quickly. They're great at outlets and transition and passing, and then they both are 40% plus shooters from three now the last 2 years, and it's just the backcourt the Lakers could have had if they had just actually kept them. But the Bulls, we talked about them preseason. That whole preseason they had the best net rating in the league thing dug into. If you guys remember not Kevin. Hold on one second. Kostya Medvedovsky. Didn't want to get his name wrong. He's an analytics NBA guy. He was like, hey, there actually is predictive value in preseason results in the NBA. I had never looked back at it, but when they're that extreme, the tail ends of teams that are underperforming and really overperforming, he said the Bulls, absolutely, teams that had performed that well in the 15 years of preseason data that we have, the teams that have performed that well have all won at least 44 games, 44 to 59 wins. And the Bull season win total was 42.5 to 43.5. So that was the point of he was mentioning it for. The market actually moved up some. And then sure enough, I haven't looked recently. They were 10-3 and then maybe split since then. So 11-4, but one of the best teams in the league. And it's just Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, all these Lakers fans. And when the Lakers stunk and we were sticking up for all these young guys, and now Kuzma's doing great in Washington after the Lakers traded him and other pieces for Westbrook. Julius Randle's, an all-star now in New York. And everyone else says, well, the Lakers got a title still. And there's something, though, about me that even as a fan, and I wouldn't admit this to my friends that don't listen to the show, but it kind of cheapened the title, and I would have preferred. Now Caruso was on the title team, but a lot of the other guys, it's I kind of wish the young guys that I was rooting on from college on were a part of it, and they just weren't, and now they're all flourishing. So part of me's kind of tilted by all that. But anyways, Bulls Nuggets, if you can get the 209s, I think that's an okay bet for a total tonight in the NBA. Qwan is telling me that we have people on the line.
We have Nick.
Nick, can you hear me okay? Is it smooth? Are we good?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Yeah, hold
on. Shoot.
All right, Quan's trying to...
I'm the wrong input. Hold on, I'm the wrong input. Shit.
There we go.
No, you're good. It was Quan's fault. You got me now, Nick?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound actually cleaner than normal, so fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're just using your phone or not, but
No, I'm on my computer and I use Discord all the time, and I have a headset on all day. So this is actually this should be better quality for sure.
Beautiful. Yeah, fuck. We should just next 30 minutes should just be me and Nick. Like, let's just roll. We got a show. You have a college play for us? I know that's usually your bread and butter. Are you going to go for a money line? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I only played this against the spread, but I am going to go money line on this because I think there's a little bit of a higher variance situation here potentially.
Okay.
I want Virginia Tech money line Saturday night.
Someone just wanted the same thing. He got plus 255. He called in right before our phone line kind of we had to reset. But break it down for us. He kind of had a similar thought.
Yeah, well, plus 255 is great, and so my number's a little bit lower, is more like 6, and I know this number was at 7, and then Fuente got fired, and then the line went up. I think it was like a point roughly. It's kind of bounced between 7.5 and 8. But yeah, net yards per play. Virginia Tech's actually got a little bit of a better net yards per play than Miami on the season right now, and quite frankly, like. I don't have the long-term data on this, but like at least tracking over the past couple of years, the week after a coach gets fired, the team that has the coach gets fired tends to cover very frequently. And I don't have the long-term data on this. Maybe you can analyze it better than I can, but it's been doing very well the last couple years. Yeah.
I'll interject. I don't know the exact number, but as a number guy that probably thinks that's just like a stupid narrative, it definitely always wins. So, and by the way, we can hear the echo a little bit on your end, but maybe mute when I'm talking, and then you can jump back in. All right, he got it muted. I don't know what it is. It's probably somewhere in like the last 5 years, like 80% or something. It's insane. So just having that extra little bonus doesn't hurt for sure. Nick, are you there? Oh no. Did someone else call in and kick him off, and now they're waiting?
I'm hoping.
Just look on the screen. It's someone else, I bet. Right? So when second person calls, if someone is on the VMix, it probably kicks the other person off. Either way, Nick, we got you for the plus 255. And the coaching thing, yeah, I've never gone back and looked because it's one of those I don't want to admit that the guys really rally together, but it just always happens. It's insane. Who's up next?
It's still Nick, but he said it froze.
Got it. We'll just close them up, and then we'll take the next one.
Next up, we got to get Jim loaded. So
all right, we'll get Jim loaded and then a couple more, but then Spredapedia is going to be on in 10 to 15 minutes anyway, so we will do our thing. It's all good. It's Friday. Laid back. Had a bunch of stuff we talked through Monday through Thursday, so plenty of action. And again, for new people, a couple people that were messaging me right before the show, every day 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Mondays and Tuesdays are especially valuable. So, Jim, is that you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What is up? What do you want to lock in for us?
Looking to bet against my team here, the Eagles. I'm going to go Saints money line. I just can't get there with. I guess there's some group out there that just loves the Eagles. Maybe they hit a lot of analytic numbers.
It's heading to 3 right now. Like the board's even moving the last couple minutes.
Maybe that's because of Kamara. I can't figure it out. I just really can't. I tried to get there with the number. As far as they match up, Saints got the best run defense in the league. The Eagles, I think it's a little misleading. Their running numbers, it's a lot of called pass plays that turn into Hurts scrambles. And although he's been good at it, I just don't see them being able to use that to their advantage this week.
Kamara
I know
was ruled
Kamar's
out 10
questionable.
minutes ago officially, so I should let you know that he is out. So
cool.
That's
there
why
you
the
go.
line's moving up a
Okay.
little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he freeze up? It's all good. He wanted money line on the Saints, so now he's getting a better price than had he called 10 minutes ago. Plus 127 is the price that we're getting there. Not bad, but I also kind of like the Saints in a teaser to 8.5. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of with them, especially for a total is it 42.5 still? Some 42.5s basically. A couple 43s left, but those are probably going to start coming down a little bit with the Kamara news as well. I should tell Jason is that V-Mix is kind of freezing up anyways after a few minutes, right?
I think the callers are Jamie. I think hopped on and cut Jim off. If I send you the link, please wait until the next.
Yeah, wait until we, I guess, give you the okay or let Qwan confirm. That's what I was thinking happened with Nick too. But hopefully it's smooth for Jason.
Jim hop back on. Are you guys there?
Jim kicks Jamie back off. Jim, actually, I got your pick, man. It's all good.
Jim actually is the leader on the leaderboard after he hit Nelson Aguilar first TD last night.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Wow. What was the price on that?
16-1.
16.
It's 16.55, and he's got 2 pending this weekend with this, and 3 with this one today. And then Tom Davis, 15.87. Mike's at 15 units even.
Well, maybe Jim wanted to gloat a little bit about that, so he's calling back in. But I did not remember that he had Nelson 16-1. This is interesting now because Tom and Mike had, they were like plus 16 so far ahead of the field, and now all it takes is one hit like that, and Jim's in the mix as well.
Jamie, you can hop on if you see this or hear this.
Jamie, what's up, man? Are you on? I don't think he is. It's up to 3 at Westgate, the Eagles now. You can get the Saints at plus 3. Caesars, Westgate, a few places pulled it completely. They might go back up at 3. So now it's not really a teaser option. It's like just take the 3 or pass. Anybody on?
Nope.
Did you know, or I should ask you, for those that aren't aware, Qwan is a Detroit Lions fan. Matthew Stafford hasn't been practicing. You know who your backup quarterback is?
Wait, for the Rams?
No, I said it wrong. Jared Goff hasn't been practicing. I apologize.
Yeah, it's the guy from
the Detroit Lions. No Goff is what it's looking like.
He's trash, but he was.
It's 3 straight
Boyle,
days,
right? Tim Boyle. Yeah. David Blau must be
my friend Joey Kanish was tweeting as soon as he saw the news, like, get ready for the money line win for the Lions, because you're not expecting Tim Boyle to win the game. This is when the Lions win the game, especially coming off of that tie. That's got to be super confidence boosting. Like, man, we got a tie this year.
I think he can throw the ball down the field, and that's the only thing that's separating here from golf. Like,
Cleveland Browns looked horrible against the Pats. Baker's arm might fall off. Like, let me just ask you this. Plus 470, Lions money line. Interest you at all? Almost 5-1. No. Are you sure? If you were to put a percentage on it, what do you think are the chances that Tim Boyle wins the game for the Lions this weekend?
About 18%.
Okay, so then you would like 5-1. Because at 5-1, you only need to win about 16.7% of
Listen,
the
man, my
break-even
probability.
So you got an edge.
Yeah.
Shop for the 5-1. Fire Tim Boyle money line.
No, yeah, that I don't know, man, because I think they have a chance. Like, Blau's horrible, but he's not like super ass. I saw Boyle play in a few preseason games, and he was terrible.
It's interesting that Goff led the Rams to a Super Bowl. If you just keep now looking back at that, give a lot of credit to McVay. But, man, you know what's crazy? If Jim had called a few minutes later, he would have got plus 140 on the Saints. He's probably going to try to get it anyway. Eagles steam.
You can tell Spredapedia to call in.
Should I just tell him to call in and roll? All righty.
For betting extraordinaire, if you won, you're going to hop in the Discord because I cannot seem to fix. I never know who this is.
What's the handle?
Yeah, Savsky819.
I don't know either. I don't even remember Jamie's. Remember I tried to CC him once and I kept typing all the possible spellings of, and his handle on Discord is just like a bunch of random letters. It's probably not random to him, but Westgate, someone took the 3. It's gone. It's back down to 2.5. So that might be telling for those that are following along. Saints at 3 may not last. Huh. Beautiful. Man, there's a lot going on in my life that I just can't talk about yet, but in a couple weeks I can. That will be pretty cool. And Jason, who we're going to have on, is involved with one of these things. But we can't talk about it, Jason. A couple more weeks.
This is a great Friday, guys. I really appreciate.
Honestly, it's been like 2 months since we had a day. Stuff just didn't work, and I think it's because right before the show started, there were 2 different people that were like, "Hey, where can I find your picks?" And I was like, "I do a show literally every day, like the same time." And then of course his first time of he's tuning in and it's not working with the callers. It's okay. Also because Jason's coming on because last time he was here, we also had some troubles. So.
All right, we got.
I'll blame him.
We got Jamie up.
Jamie's on. Okay, Jamie, can you hear me okay? How's it going?
I got you. You got me?
Nice, yeah. You are good. Yeah, lay it on us. What do you like for the weekend?
All right. So like I said, I'm giving up on November. We're on to December. So give me Cincinnati to make the playoff. College football.
I think I was listening to Jeff and Rufus's pod with Matthew David out. It was priced like 5-1. What's the number you see? They were talking about it for.
Yeah, I know it's all over the place. I had heard them talking about that. I only have it at like 1 or 2 of my outs, and it was like 250. But I was going to see if you could look.
It's not showing up on the prop shop.
Couldn't find it on screen anywhere either.
Yeah, it's not going to show on screen, but sometimes this prop shop on FTN is pretty good for comparing all of the U.S. local books. No dice.
Problem is in
so
Georgia.
So we got to just roll, I guess, with whatever you got. Plus 250. Maybe,
yeah. So.
No, maybe Rufus's price was 15%, which is about plus 500. That's probably what I remember. I don't think they ever quoted an actual price, so it's probably just plus 250.
Can you look at FanDuel? Because I think that's where I was seeing it. So my other problem is I'm in Georgia, so I got to use all offshores, and a lot of them weren't offering it.
Let me pull it up. It's just to make the playoff prop, right? Make playoff.
Actually 320. That's what they have. Yeah, plus 320.
Yeah, we can give you plus 320. That sounds a little better too. So break it down for us then, because David Howe said he's not even sure Notre Dame wouldn't jump them themselves, let alone other options. I'm kind of with you because if Alabama loses to Georgia in the SEC title game, which they're probably going to be dogs in, that's a 2-loss Bama team that's not getting in. Oregon's a dog this tomorrow to Utah, period. They could lose another one. Ohio State's probably going to win out, and so they're in. But there's a spot for Cincy at number 4. Give us your thoughts as well.
Yeah, so very similar. So just kind of the way I project out the season, I see Georgia beating Bama. I think a 2-loss Bama is out. A lot of people are saying a 2-loss non-champ Bama could be in, but I just think given the precedent from the committee that they wouldn't do that. They had chances to do that before with Ohio State, with Penn State. They've never done it before, and I don't think this is the year. So I think Georgia beats Bama. I think Oregon loses to Utah at least once.
This would be a rematch anyway in the Pac-12 title game. Yeah,
exactly. I just don't think you can beat a good, well-coached team twice. And if they're a dog this week, they'd be like, pick them in the title game, right? I mean, something like that. I just don't think Oregon's going to win out, so then they'd be out. I agree. I think Ohio State takes care of business. Or if they don't, I mean, I guess Michigan takes care of business. Michigan State could even lose. Like, that could get ugly, actually, if Ohio State doesn't win out. So that would be another.
But they're probably not getting in with the 2-loss anyway. Yeah, it would just probably go to Michigan.
No, like there's a chance the Big Ten plays themselves out of this. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be beneficial for Cincinnati.
Sure.
I don't think Notre Dame would jump Cincinnati with
I hope
one
not.
loss.
That'd be such garbage.
And then
I'd be
I guess
actually
you've got,
genuinely upset if the team that loses to Cincy at home, when Cincy's undefeated, like jumps them somehow. I would be pretty upset about that.
yeah, and then you've got the Big 12, which, I mean, that's probably what it would come down to. So if you've got Georgia, Ohio State, and then, I mean, a Big 12 champ and Cincinnati, I don't know. Like, I just think for plus 320, there's actually several paths here to where that could kind of work itself out. Wake, maybe. Nobody's talking about Wake, but I mean, I think if Wake wins out as the ACC champ with one loss, they'd have a case.
I can't believe
But
they were
I
up
just think
18
for
in that
plus
fourth quarter
320,
and lost. They should be undefeated. I actually was really rooting for Wake to run the table because I'd love to see them in. But they were up 18 in the fourth and just gave up 21 straight and lost that game. It was, man, that kind of upset me just as like a college football fan. It would have been great to have them undefeated.
yeah, even if you look at some of the predictors for, like, I don't trust them, but like the probability that Cincinnati gets in, it's like 30, 35%. That's well under plus 320. So
Yeah.
I
All right,
just
man.
I just
We'll
think
lock
it's
it
worth
in
a shot.
for you. We have Jason calling in now, so we got to let you go. But 320
good.
for next month. We'll have you in for that.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good weekend.
Yep.
Was Jason able to get through? Beautiful. Just let me know when he's through, and we'll get rolling. What's up, Jason? How you doing today?
What's going on? Can you see me?
He's fake on. All right, Jason, you're
I
on now.
couldn't.
We got you. What's up, man?
What's up?
Nothing at all. We've had a little bit of weirdness on the tech side, but it's all good. It's Friday. We're all laying low, laid back, ready for a football weekend, and we're ready for you. And honestly, and I didn't tell you this part yet, multiple people DMing me. I think there was something in the Discord last night. Unanimous W, Ohtani MVP 30-1. They remembered the first day you were here sitting next to me, gave it out, talked it through for like 10 minutes. You don't get too many 30-1s that were that easy. So for one, gloat for a minute, but everyone says thanks. And then, just kind of take the floor and give us your thoughts on the MLB season as a whole.
Oh well, thank you, and I'm very happy that other people were able to share in that win, and it wasn't just me winning. And I talked about it a lot, and other people have been showing me pictures and messaging me, and it's great to see other people win as well. It was a fun season. I think it was nice to have the 162 game season back, and there were a lot of the futures markets were really up in the air late. Bryce Harper was available 30-1 in August. I didn't bet that. Robbie Ray was available 100-1 at the All-Star break. He ended up winning. There were big prices everywhere this year. And of course Ohtani was just, it's great when something like that happens. It was unfortunate that it took all the way to almost Thanksgiving to finally cash
money.
it. And by now everyone's into college football and NFL, and no one cares about the baseball season.
That's actually true. Have they always gone this long to announce and award the
Yeah,
players, or-
usually a week or two after the World Series, which I keep pushing that they need to change. They need to do this before the World Series, during the World Series.
Yeah, it gets so hyped.
Yeah, and especially with MLB and their partnership with FTX, I really feel like they should be embracing these markets, because I could see a future where you could, buy and sell player futures on FTX, and we should be engaging the fans with stuff like this. It's good stuff.
Especially with the baseball needs things like this, right? They're kind of, and it's no secret, they've been slowly kind of losing fans and interest, especially the younger generation. So I'm with you there. Let me ask you real quick about Bryce Harper. You mentioned, mid-season could get him at 30-1. Are you kind of surprised that he had this kind of, I guess, call it a comeback season? Because he had a few years where he was batting 230, 240 and just couldn't really find a groove. What do you think changed? Was it just weird variance for 2 seasons in between? Injuries? I don't know. What's your just general thought on Bryce Harper and then I guess the Phillies going forward?
He was absolutely not on my radar when he started coming on strong in the second half. I just had a blind spot for him. I think we kind of forgot about him. And in general, he's just one of those guys that he's so good all the time that we kind of just take for granted how good his baseline is. And we're like, oh, well, he's not doing that good. And then you kind of look at the numbers. It's like, oh, he's actually doing fine. Patrick Mahomes has kind of reached that stage too in the NFL where, you know, you look at him and you're like, oh, he's having an awful season. And then you compare his numbers and they're almost the same as Matt Stafford's, who we're talking about as an MVP favorite. So I did kind of feel that way. But, you know, I wasn't upset he won. It was just a weak MVP field for the NL this year. There were no contenders on playoff teams, and Trey Turner kind of got traded halfway through the season to the Dodgers. Just I would have preferred Juan Soto won, but I can't blame him for voting Harper. He had a great year.
You can't win them all, Jason. I mean, you can. You've done it before, but next season you can try to sweep the board. Let me ask you, have you looked, or are there markets for futures next season already up? Is it just World Series, or are they pushing like at Circa or Westgate, or do they have any player futures up yet?
No player futures yet, just World Series stuff. But Westgate did put up a home run leader market for next year. I think it's too early to really figure out home runs, especially with the lockout. There's potential for a lockout. I don't know if we'll actually see missed games, but the labor situation going into the off season is not promising at the moment. So I'm not rushing to bet futures, but when they do come out, I've already started making lists of some guys I like and some guys I liked last year that should carry over, etc. I always try to make notes like that at the end of the season for the next season.
Beautiful. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. We're going to shift gears to the NFL. Not only are you known for your MLB futures, but there's a backup tight end you hit at a really crazy price. Starts with a P, I think his name, forgetting it. But first
Donald Parham.
Thank you. Yeah. You nailed that. Was it like 50 to 1 maybe? 40 to 1?
40, I think.
Yeah.
I think 40.
So you hit these seemingly like a couple times this season. Have you been firing first TDs pretty regularly since? Do you have any for Sunday that you've dug into yet that you like, or just anything Sunday in general that stands out for the NFL?
I like the first TDs, and it's interesting the way they go is like you might, like for me, I might go like a month or 2 months without really winning one, and then I'll hit like a 40 to 1 and a 50 to 1, in back-to-back weeks, and it's crazy.
It covers you for 4 seasons at that point. You're like, you're free roll.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I looked, so my bet last night, I had under 20 points in the Patriots game last night. That was really upsetting.
You had it.
I think it was like 18 to 1 or something. It was really, really close. But this weekend, I like Cam Newton. Cam Newton score the first touchdown. If you can get that around 10 to 1, I think that's a good price. He actually wasn't listed last week at most places. I was really upset because I knew he was going to score the first touchdown last week. But they're gonna, the offense is built around Cam Newton to run the ball and score. So I think it's a good situation for him. Beyond that, I bet a lot of futures this week, actually, if you want to hear about some of the futures I bet.
Yeah, like Super Bowl and conference and stuff, or?
Yeah, Super Bowl conference players. There's so many good numbers out there this week, surprisingly, all over the board. For example, Patrick Mahomes, BetMGM, 20 to 1. I think that's really high. If you have FanDuel or Barstool, Mac Jones, Rookie of the Year, still plus 130 at FanDuel, plus 120 at Barstool. It's minus 165 at Circa. He already has 7 wins as a starting quarterback. For me, quarterback wins are way more important than whatever numbers Jamar Chase is going to put up. If the Patriots do make the playoffs, which I expect them to, especially when you look at their late season schedule, they still have 2 games versus the Bills. They have Dolphins and Jaguars to end the season. Their path to a playoff spot is there already with 7 wins. Yeah. I think anything plus money, plus 120, plus 130 on Mac Jones at this point in the season is a great price. Even Patriots to win the AFC, I bet that at 12 to 1 earlier this week. Obviously, probably not going to find 12 to 1 now. I think that's a good Patriots to win the AFC, though, is worth looking at. And then the Offensive Player of the Year market is a market that surprisingly the sharper books don't even book it, but the ones who do, like DraftKings and BetMGM, kind of have no clue how to price it. So Cooper Kupp is plus 110 to win Offensive Player of the Year. Only 3 receivers in the history of this award have ever won. 2 of them were Jerry Rice. So excuse me if I don't want to put Cooper Kupp in that category. But Jonathan Taylor, who's the best running back in the NFL right now, who's healthy, is 20 to 1. That number doesn't make any sense. That's a DraftKings, by the way. And then even further down the board, they have like Tyreek Hill 40 to 1, Patrick Mahomes 65 to 1. I need someone to explain to me how you get the Patrick Mahomes behind his own receiver for this award, especially if you look at this award and you view it as potentially a consolation award for the MVP. You think the best quarterback wins MVP, the second best quarterback wins Offensive Player of the Year. I think there's a better chance of that than Cooper Kupp. I would really like that Patrick Mahomes 65 to 1 number at DraftKings. I think that's good. And then the Defensive Player of the Year, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, bunch of places, but Myles Garrett, 3 to 1 favorite. I think that's an awful favorite. Not that he's not amazing and putting up these great numbers, but have you seen the Browns defense? They've given up 35, 42 points. They've 3 games, I think, over 5 touchdowns. It's not a good defense. Matt Judon on the Patriots, who has comparable numbers to Myles Garrett and is playing on a potential playoff team, potential division winner if they beat the Bills, is 40 to 1. I think that's a great bet.
Wow,
I actually
really?
just bet that this week. Yeah, I think that's a good bet. That's a little rundown of some of the future stuff I hopped on the last couple days.
40 to 1 seems super high. Yeah, that's probably my favorite one of the ones you mentioned outside of Mahomes, which I thought your comp kind of to Bryce Harper was perfect with Mahomes, where it's like he's so good all the time that when he's only slightly good, we're like, wow, what's wrong? But like you go to like success rate, Casey still grades out number 1 in the NFL. And it's like, yeah, they've had some issues. They haven't won as many games as maybe we anticipated. But if they do end up going on a run here, there hasn't really been a runaway quarterback or MVP yet. No offense to Qwan, who is only picked preseason with Stafford, and he's rooting for him and the Rams, and that's fine. But like for the price, you can get 20 to 1 on Mahomes still. That's intriguing to me. And Offensive Player of the Year even as another option too. Beautiful, man. Any last thoughts? Anything that you're doing at VSiN that you want to lay on us before we let you go? Just tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, I have a daily podcast that VSiN puts out. It's available everywhere. You can get the podcast basically. I just go through futures and my thoughts on stuff I'm betting. I talk a lot about golf futures, just whatever's going on in the world. That comes out daily or almost daily. Sometimes I skip a day, but yeah, that's where you can find me. Find me on Twitter. I kind of this part of the year I bet a little bit less, but there's always stuff to talk about, always stuff to bet. So thanks for having me on again.
Of course, we'll have you in studio one of these days again. But I know it's short notice.
Definitely.
We got to have you on. Otani takes the W. A bunch of people here listening to that show the first day got some extra cash. So thanks again, man. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
See ya. Quan's upset. No Matthew Stafford love. That entire roll through all of the NFL futures.
I have no idea what just happened.
You're just trying to make sure everything's working.
What's going on?
Well, that was smooth. That's all that mattered. We got the good interview. Callers can deal with a couple hiccups here and there. What I am worried about is we have day 3 of Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire. Was there 5 people that made it through? Maybe it was 6. Whatever the number was. We have a good one.
We're going to have to do
this weekend.
Discord.
They
might get to show their face if they want. We could throw them up.
I don't want anyone doxxed, but if they want, yeah, we can split screen and do their face. Maybe it'll work out better than what I'm thinking is that we end a little early here for Last Word Cheetah. We got to go through some of the college football stuff I was going to go through after the interview with Jason anyway. We can make sure those Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire contestants, it's day 3, which means they're right. They pick a winner tomorrow in college. They're going to pocket $250, and then there are only 3 questions from the $25,000 question. So I want to make sure this is set and okay because it's a crucial day. The stakes are a little higher, and we had a nice group covering last night with a lot on that alt line for the Atlanta New England under, along with Jason, by the way, who played under 20. And I know it was like Matt Ryan, or there was a couple interceptions that set up scores in the fourth quarter for New England that no pick, and they just punt away. It's probably not going to get over the 20. So he almost nailed that at 18-1. Does that work for you? We'll take a few minutes.
Alec is ready, and then we can end it.
Oh, he wants to jump in.
Alec's on. He wants to jump.
We'll take him. Alec, can you hear me okay? What's up, man? I'll wait for Qwan to give me the okay because we can't hear you yet. It's probably on Quan's side. Good? Yay? Nay?
It says he's on. Alec, turn your mic on.
Maybe he's just muted. Yeah, Alec, what's up? How you doing?
All right. That seems like we can end it because that's how this day is going.
At least it's Friday. But it's a bad omen, man. I'm telling you. Everyone should round robin the other sides of the college football.
Lions victory. That's what it's
Lions
seeming like.
Definitely winning outright. All right, we'll wrap it up. Last word, Cheetah. Thanks for those that did call in. Little mix up with the V-Mix, or we mixed it up with V-Mix instead of the phone line. Just blame it on you-know-who. We'll be back a couple of minutes. We have our 5 or 6 contestants, whatever the number is. College football tomorrow. There's 4 games. They're all totaled 65.5 or 66. They're all pretty fun, marquee-ish games. Which one scores the most points? We'll find out what those 4 games are in a few minutes. We'll be back here at Bets TV. See you guys later.